Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Good morning, viewer and listener out there. This is Inside Nigeria for Friday. Welcome to the show. Of course, as usual, we shall be dissecting from prominent front page stories of some dailies. And today I'm not alone on the show. My colleague Rukaya Sadauki is joining me for the first time. Rukaya, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
All right, good. Welcome to Inside Nigeria. And of course, our guest, an Abuja-based public affairs analyst, Samaila Musa, is back on the show. Samaila?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, let's go there. Viewers, we are starting with Nigeria's first Friday newspaper, the Leadership Friday. Sharing formula for political offices tears Zamfara APC apart. Sharing formula for political office holders tears Zamfara APC apart. And this is as a result of Governor Mutawale's defection to the APC. Just after 1 month after his defection, Samaila, we are having crisis in the party.
Yeah, I mean, this crisis was actually, or is just a crisis waiting to happen. You know, anybody who is conversant with how these things work out will always know that this is bound to happen. I mean, and this is just the beginning anyway. Whatever peace talk you see holding in different fora to make sure they bring them together, Nigerian politicians will never come together because some people are feeling aggrieved. They are feeling shortchanged that we have worked for the party, we are the one who built APC in this state, and all of a sudden, from nowhere, you give it to someone to, and not just giving it to him, but, of course, automatically, as a sitting governor, he becomes the leader of the party. Whereas some people are feeling, I'm supposed to be a godfather at the stage in this state. So if this kind of thing is happening, they feel, oh, this is a slight. You shouldn't be rubbing this on my face. So really, that will never, because and how do you achieve justice? Because without justice, there would never be peace. And I don't see any formula you can put in place to say there's going to be justice in this case, because a sitting governor always feel he's the number one in the state. So all other persons should come under him. And in this case, they didn't play any role for his emergence as a governor. So he wouldn't want to yield or, because there's just some kind of conception you have for your godfather.
But it's coming to their platform now. It's coming to their
party. Yeah, it's coming to their party.
So but come to the house, some people are already occupying the house.
You see, the way it's factored in Nigeria is that even if it's 2 days to election, if you have a sitting governor, you rather prefer to have him and discard the others. You understand? Because that name, now we now have no so number of states in our kitty.
But really, let's look at the bone of contention. Look at the riders below the list story of the leadership. Governor demands 70%, gives 30% to Yari, Marafa, and others. And it's 50-50 deal or nothing, as governor's camp insists. Says Mutawale can't automatically inherit state party structure. Look at the bone of contention.
Well, it's unfortunate, but you see the way it is automatic here in Nigeria. He inherits the structure because he's also looking at the next election. This is beyond what's happening now. I mean, what office is as important, because for him, it's not about working in the states. It's a party issue. He's looking at 2030. I mean, I don't know when is their own election coming again. It's still 2023. Yeah?
Yes.
So he's looking at it from that perspective of what happens in 2023. I want to go for a re-election. I can't afford to have my enemies holding key positions in this party. So, and that's the problem. There is nothing they can do. Of course, he is taking the lion's share, but if you ask me, that's fair, that's not fair to some people. You understand? As a sitting governor, he wants to, but you see, the problem actually is this. Even if you make it 50-50, it won't solve the problem. The problems will still be there. We have the Marafa faction also, who was already at loggerheads with the Yari's camp. That has not been resolved. Now you are complicating the issue. So really, they're going to be having this because different factions. But yeah, I mean, this is just an introduction to what's going to happen in the next 1 year.
All right, so okay, let me allow you to do business. Let's go to business.
Yeah, Nigerian refineries to go more despite 2 trillion spent on revamp. So Smaila, are those spend is justified?
Well, you see, it might be justified in some other climes, not in Nigeria. Actually, you might be able to justify that in some other climes to say, oh, once this X amount of money is earmarked for so thing, it's definitely going to be used for the exact thing which they claim it's going to be used for. It's only in Nigeria that you find that half of that money is going to go into, meetings. You're going to have a delegation of maybe 2 people can go source for whatever they need to do this revamp. But you're going to have a 20-man delegation. This will be going to America. Another 20-man, the same 20-man delegation will also be sponsored to go to Brazil and different countries like that. So the half of the money is being spent, because by the time you look into the budget and you see how much they are spending for just travels alone, if you're wondering, what are they traveling? Are they this traveling, the amount earmarked for it, is it that to bring those equipments? And I can tell you for a fact that these refineries are old refineries. They are going out of fashion world over, really. It's easier for you to have a new refinery, which I don't think Nigerian government can afford to do, because the maintenance will be a problem if this government handling it. So most of this equipment are out of date. In some cases, you have to go source from other refineries who maybe change their own or something, because for how many years the new refineries are having newer equipment now? So some of those things that got spoiled, you really have to go different places to go source for it, maybe from some other refineries that you feel go through haulage or maintenance from time to time. So it's a hell lot of problem. But I tell you, Nigerian culture is more than half of that money will be filtered away to some people.
But for me, I also see corruption playing, because why would the refineries got more money despite 2 trillion naira already spent on revamping them? Because we cannot sell them as dead refinery or as scraps. But then there are 2 models of refinery management. There is the public, where the government is the one in charge, and there is the private. You understand? So in this case, probably they want us to hands off the refineries to the hands of our private people. But then, the money that have been sunk into these refineries over years, under the guise of turnaround maintenance, is huge. And I believe, or I know that when selling these refineries, we may not be able to recoup back our money. At the end of the day, Nigeria will be at loss. And people use most of these projects, revamping, turnaround maintenance, and the rest of them to actually make money for themselves.
That's why I said even this money budgeted, more than half of it is going to go into some people's pockets. That is a normal culture in Nigeria. That was why I cited the instance of there will be maybe minimum of a 20-man delegation that will be traveling from one country to the other, spending more than half of this money, because it's not justifiable. How do you justify 2 trillion naira spent and you can't really lay your hands on what it's being used for?
They are not functional.
Maybe they need to sit down with Dangote and start asking him, how much does it cost you
to do the Bejuleki refinery?
You understand? So that we know, do we keep sinking money into this revamp, this maintenance, or let's just take this money and just go build another one? And maybe if you want to do BOT, build, operate, transfer kind of system or something. But this is it's a culture in NNPC. NEPA once had the same culture. Some people are there. They are the oracles behind the whole thing. Even when they retire, they put their people there. Nothing goes around. They are the ones to supply. They are the owners of those companies who are doing all those things.
Sure.
You understand? So you are guaranteed that there's nothing that's going to come out of it. Because once you do it effectively once and for all, then you're going to take food from their table. And they won't allow that to happen. And that's the problem with this country.
Well, if Dangote can do it, I think the almighty federal government of Nigeria can do the same. Let's go to the next newspaper, the Punch. Relief for secondos as PDP Board of Trustees tackles Wike rejects interim ESCO. Relief for secondos as PDP Board of Trustees tackles Governor Wike rejects interim ESCO. This is a report about the outcome of the BOT meeting of the PDP, which held yesterday at the Wadata Plaza National Headquarters of the party. What is your take?
Okay, well, I think first, the BOT has done the right thing, because it's a party issue. We shouldn't have one man dictating the tune simply because he pays, the piper. So we should move away from where just one single man dictates everything that happened in the party. If you have a BOT, it should have been their responsibility. But again, if you want to be fair to Wike, you can't take it away from him. We know what played out at a point where all of them ran away from PDP when Alimadi Sharif and was having issues with PDP. They all left the party alone. Wike single-handedly, brought the party back to life. Yeah, and rumors had it that he spent billions even within the judiciary. You understand, monies went round and all of that, and because of that, he feels, look, I have to call the shots. Because where were you when we were having these issues? You all ran away. Immediately Buhari came in, some of them ran away. They felt, oh, this man is going to come after me. Everybody went silent. So it was a period of silence where you don't even have any opposition in the country anymore. But he brought the party back to life. But having said that, that is not enough for only him to single-handedly call the shots. But I think one of the issues he's having with Secondos is that, look, I made you. You understand that I made you? You were a nobody in Rivers. I put you there as the party chairman. From there, you came. I brought you. I single-handedly put you there as the party chairman of PDP. So he's feeling, look, your loyalty should be to me. I should be the one that is telling you what to do because you were a nobody and I brought you here. And this is not the, whatever we agreed on, it should be followed to the latter. So really, that's one of the major problem, So really, it is a time for PDP as a party to reflect on what has gone wrong, which way forward. But I blame Secondus also in the sense that as a party chairman, you have failed. If one, two, I can count on my fingers how many governors have left the party within the shortest possible time. You all had this report before they happened. You all know the grievances. Why can't you do something at that time? Whatever it takes you to make sure that nobody leaves the party. Except who maybe one person should have been, oh, okay, this person, we have tried all our best, he has made up his mind, this is what he wanted to do. But you see, there must be a crisis for 1, 2, 3 to just be leaving. And we're not just talking about, party members. We're talking about state governors leaving the party in droves. So really, it shows some kind of incompetence on the side as a party chairman that, PDP will not be, can't afford to have for a long time.
Now, look at some cases against Secondos. The riders are below the story on the Punch. PDP chieftain says Secondos must complete tenure.
Yes.
But at the same time, they faulted the party chairman's handling of crisis,
okay, I didn't even see
which
you
just mentioned that he was unable to handle some matters correctly, which led to the defection of the 3 governors that led the party.
Yeah.
Now, the PDP or the board of trustees of the party has set up a conflict resolution committee to look into this crisis and come up with a report. At the same time, cautioning its members against unguarded utterances.
Well, I think you won't say, oh, it's coming at the wrong time. It's never too late. But they saw all these things coming. They were relaxed, and the damage done because a serious party will spend everything it takes to make sure that those governors did not leave that party at the time they left. Because this is a time where we're just looking at 2023 along. You can take it's politicking. Everybody can be taken along. Interest can be, you look into it and harness and all of that. But of course, it's never too late. Let the board of trustees, the board set up to look into this conflict. This committee should do the needful, But of course, what we realize in most cases when you have this kind of issues is that the committee set up, some persons already have their own interest. And that's why even the picking of the committee will have to be who is loyal to who. That is going to be membership of that committee. And most times it doesn't really end well because the judgment has been concluded before they even start working on it. So it's but if they put the right people who will be fair enough to look into everyone's dispassionately, that's good for the party.
All right, Samala, we need to go on a short break, and we'll be back soon.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters. Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Welcome back to Inside Nigeria. Of course, we still have Samaila Musa in the studio with us. Samaila Musa is an Abuja-based public affairs analyst. Samaila, we were talking about the PDP before we went on a short break. Now we move away from the Punch to the next newspaper, the Vanguard.
Vanguard-Crises. Stakeholders rally to save APC and PDP. Madam Samaila, why do you think our major parties, APC and PDP, are having issues at the same time?
Well, it's actually, you can predict that. I mean, who wouldn't know APC is going to have problems the moment President Muhammad Buhari is ending his tenure? We can always tell that from the inception of the party that, look, this party is centered around just one person. We know so many strange bedfellows who came together, people who will never see eye to eye coming together because of one person. And of course, once they know that this man is not going for re-election, that is going to bring about division. And you see, majorly or largely, the problems you're having in APC, both APC and PDP, is about 2023, which is a very common thing in Nigeria, where you have, in fact, this is just an introduction to what's going to happen. In another less than a year, you're going to be seeing the campaign, people who feels, okay, their interest is no longer being taken care of in this party, they're going to move with their own followers to another party. So it's something you can always predict with Nigerian politicians that is going to happen, that more are still coming, So really, it's an internal issue where it's about interest. If my interest is not being taken care of, I fight it. If I can't fight, then I move to another party. So that majorly, that's the problem.
All right, most of these riders are the riders we've discussed
earlier, okay,
on other papers. But we need to go back to the front page of Leadership Friday for other stories of interest. Now, the first story below the masthead, 10 Katsina local government areas under severe attacks, according to the state governor, Aminu Bello Masari. 10 local governments under severe attacks daily.
Yeah,
President Muhammadu Buhari's home state of Katsina.
It's unfortunate, really, that we have found ourselves in this. Back in the days, this should have been what will make headlines of every newspaper in Nigeria, but it's become a norm.
We've been warned against glamorizing insecurity.
Yeah, but of course,
so that the criminal element will not be thinking they are winning.
Well, whether they feel they are winning or not, they are making their money. That's their major goal. They are making money from it, so it doesn't matter. If you like, don't even say it happens. Ransoms are being paid on daily basis. If the business is not thriving, people will desist from it. It's because that's the most thriving business in Nigeria today as we speak. And that's why we are having them in their droves. How many incidences of armed robbery have you heard in recent times? It doesn't work. You must be a baby to still be an armed robber, because that's not the way. The way to make money now is to go into kidnapping. So the government can keep saying, "Oh, don't glamorize," but what I'm saying in essence is that there was a time where this kind of thing should have been a very strange thing that would make all the headlines to say, "Wow, how can that be?" But today, everybody is going to bed like it's a normal thing. I mean, it will surprise you if you wake up on the day and there's nothing like this. It will be a surprise. So really, it's unfortunate that we have found ourselves. And even talking about Katsina State, the home base of the president, the APC haven't come to power on that mantra, because that was the major issue at the time, the issue of insecurity. And these people are coming, deploy is to wipe out the northerners and all of that. But now we can see clearly that a northerner isn't, and even not just a northerner as a president, but all the security chiefs are majorly from the north. We see time in, time out from the north, and yet this killing has gone on. You can't even stop it. It's not like, oh, you're able to stem it to say we met the figure, we met the number of killings, we have been able to maintain it. But this is skyrocketing, soaring higher every day. The figures are very, very bad. And just like they say, if it didn't happen to you, you wouldn't know what other people are going through. We have so many of those communities where people are actually refugees, And these are instances of refugees that nobody is taking care of them, because this is just the same way the government don't want you to glamorize it. They also don't want to take care of them so that you won't say, oh, there's 10 refugee camps in Nigeria, in Katsina, and because of that, they abandon them. It's already unfortunate that we are here.
Another story of interest is that of the immediate past chairman of INEC, Professor Jega. He has been vocal of recent. A few days ago, we had him warning Nigerians against voting APC, either APC or PDP, describing them as same side of a coin. And today, he's also saying restructuring is key to the 2023 general election. Restructuring. Do you believe that this country needs to be restructured?
Well, you see, different people have different definitions to their own restructuring. This one will come, this group will say, oh, this is your restructure. But what they have in mind or their own idea of restructuring is different from this other group. So really, we need to dissect all these things to know
what should be the real idea of restructuring.
Well, for me, I feel you see, the agitations, every violent agitations you see always start from peaceful protests and all of that, is bring these people together. We can also call for a referendum or whatever it is that will say, look, we found out that from this state, these are real representatives of the people who will come to say, what are your grievances? You understand? A lot of people will call for restructuring. They really feel, oh, let that just be a change from what is happening now. They can't put their fingers on the real thing. You understand? But they just want to change. But I feel the way to go is to say, look, we want to restructure this country. Your own idea of restructuring, what do you want? Put it on the table. Your own idea of restructuring, what exactly do you want? Because you see all this, I want to restructure based on my own idea of what restructure should be. Let the government now harness all these ideas together to say, okay, it's majorly about where you feel the shoe is spinning you on the leg. It's different from this person, you understand? Because we're all not facing the same problem in the long run. Apart from issue of security, different regions, different states have, peculiar problems that is actually not the same with this person. So really, is to now harness, match them, marry them together and say, okay, which way forward? This is what I want. This we can do. This we can do. We can make this demand. This because of this other person who is your neighbor, we won't be able to do this because you also need to be fair to him. And you see, in the long run, everything will work out. But you can restructure. You finish restructuring now. This other region feel no, that wasn't what we meant by restructuring when you did it. So you have not done restructuring. Then it has to be restructured again, and it's a vicious cycle. We keep going back and forth every time.
But I think a lot of Nigerians look at have always agreed on some key aspect of restructuring. For example, they believe that this federation called Nigeria, its power is unevenly structured. In favor of the central government. In the constitution, you will find 68 items in the exclusive list. These are powers vested in the federal government, while there is the concurrent and the residual have less powers that cannot aid, that cannot affect or catalyze development in states and local government. And people are saying, come, let's sit down, let's amend the constitution, bring out some powers, some item in the exclusive list, bring them down to the concurrent or residual, so that governments at the center and the local can also have something to do. Look at the issue of mining. It's in the exclusive list. But these mineral resources we are talking about are actually deposited in the soil of states. So how do you help them to develop these resources when they don't have the power to touch it? So a lot of things, then the issue of appointment, injustice, and the rest of them. So I think we play a lot in this country. We deceive ourselves a lot. We actually know what we need to do, but because of politics or for political correctness, we are trying to dodge the issues. Let's move to the next.
And just to add to this, it's a general belief that Nigerian presidency is the most powerful in the whole world.
Exactly.
So much power in there that it doesn't happen anywhere else.
Exactly.
But you see, the people who are trying from outside, the moment they are getting there, they also want to enjoy that power in its fullest.
And forget
they need to do that. So that's the point.
We look at federations, we claim we're copying from like the US. You don't find these things like this happening. You have federation like Brazil. It's not like that. Well, the lead story on the front page of Leadership this morning: be fair to Nigerians, Sultan tells political leaders. Be fair to Nigerians, Sultan tells political leader. Of course, Sultan is the Amiru Mumuni in Nigeria. Sultan of Sokoto. And these are part of the issues to restructuring.
It's a major issue actually. You see, and I'll give you just short analysis of what happened during the late Metamasule when the president sent for him to come see. That was even a time before this current president was sworn in. He was still at that house. Did they call it defense house or?
Yes,
right?
Defense house in Maitama.
Yeah, and that was, I was part of the people who followed him there to see the president. And he said something to him there. He said, sir, Metamasule telling the president to be at that time, that, sir, please, these people, if you will treat them the way they did, then there's no point for you to come. You understand? And the way to go is that look for a reasonable Igbo man to make the secretary to the government of the federation. And I will recommend someone who I know you have been together at party level. He's been one of your supporters from the Southeast, and he's a credible man, at least from sources. And he suggested Ogunaya Onu to him. And he said, no problem, sir. We'll definitely look into it, sir. And the next time, when you are calling them fake news, there's a list of the cabinet members started flying around. His name was not there, or it was a different name. So Metamasule quickly called for another meeting to say he wants to see this man before things go out of hand. And he still reminded him the same thing. Then he came or say, oh, sir, it wasn't like I didn't want to do it. It was, I don't want to mention the name he mentioned at that time, that he said, no, these people, they were anti-Buhari. They never voted.
This is Nigeria.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging. Because if you say I don't belong here, then let me be. You understand? So that will, and you see, and perception is very key in governance. Even if you don't like me, let it be shown that you like me. That's perception management, and it goes a long way in the psyche of people to say, because at that time everybody tells you, shut up, what else do you want? You didn't vote for him, but he gave you secretary to the government. You understand? That's to show that you are part of Nigeria, but you don't rub it on people's face and say, no, nobody is fit from a particular region to be part of this. That calls for more agitations, and that's where we are today. That's one of the problems, because you refuse to manage what you ought to have managed ab initio. It becomes a bigger problem. And I've even said this at another fora before to say, look, some of these issues, if the political leaders, just like Sultan is saying, are being fair, some of the crises we have in some of the states wouldn't be here. You understand? Because you have insecurity votes. And let me give you an instance of Zamfara. Maybe some Fulani settlement got their cattle rustled, and the government is looking the other way and telling them, okay, we are trying to trace them. You receive security votes. How much does it take you if you remove 100 million from that security vote and go and buy cows? By the time you share 100 million worth of cows, you understand? It goes a long way to say, oh, we have a government in place, and they don't have any reason to go pick up arms to say, now that I don't have anything to do. Therefore, you allow them, you abandon them, then they become bandits in the long run.
And we're paying them money.
Now, you understand? So really, that's one of the issues.
Samantha, we have a long way to go.
Yeah.
And on that note, we come to the end of today's edition of Inside Nigeria. Many thanks to Samaila Musa, and of course, Samaila Musa is an Abuja-based public affairs analyst. And my co-host this morning, Rukaya Sadoki.
Thank you, sir.
Rukaya, I look forward to see you on Monday.
Yeah, sure.
And to you out there, listener, thank you for listening. Make a day with us Monday for a fresh edition of Inside Nigeria. Bye-bye for now.